Hello guys, and today in this video I'll be showing you how to paint the Hawk plastics. As you can see, I'm taking them off right now. The goal is to take all the plastics off, obviously. This one, you just gotta make sure you got two pins, one pin in the front, one pin in the back. Just make sure you don't rip the rubbers when pulling them out. So we found out that you gotta put one light coat down first and then put more heavy coats on later. We put, I think, on the front fenders about maybe 3. And we put, I think, maybe one heavy coat, or these might have been more light coats, I'm not sure. Can't remember. Alright, now this is, I believe, spraying with clear, yes. This is spraying another coat of orange on them. As you can see, they do dull without the clear, and this, so you can see they're kind of shiny when it's on there, but this is Plasti-Dip. I forgot to say that. This is Plasti-Dipping these panels. The longer, when they dry, they kind of dull, so just remember that. So now we're going to do the inside of these panels. So you want to make sure you get all the water out when you clean them, because, I mean, Plasti-Dip pretty much seems to spray over anything, but it does not like water. So we found that out, that it won't even spray over water. And as you can see, it looks shiny, but when it dries, it will dry dull. We let it pretty much dry dull on the backside, because who sees it? Anyways, so now we're gonna do the top side of this. What we did on here was, I think we did one light coat, and then we just put heavy coats after that. And we poured it on, and you pretty much can't run this stuff. That's just, I think, how it's made. You can't run it. So just make sure you get all the water out, and it gets you the best result. And also, if it tears, it can rip the rest of it out. So be careful when you do reinstall them. Now, as you can see it even start to dull, I believe, right in the corner there. Now I think we are spraying another coat on the other ones. I don't have a video of it, but as you can see, you can even see it drying a little dull here, in where the light is showing. Here's another coat of, just put another coat of orange on. It's a good heavy coat. You did see as it dried a little bit, that's why I left that piece of that video in. It did dull up, just for future reference. Now, as you can see now, they're really dull. Here's, I believe, the clear coat. When we applied the clear coat, yes. It's got a special look to it, but it does shine them up, and it takes that kind of fading away from it. Now we're doing the back of the front panels. We didn't clear coat this either, we just made a good paint on it. Yeah, just because you will see the back of the front panels. So unless you have black panels, you gotta kind of have to spray them. Now, here's another coat of clear coat onto these. I believe we put 2 coats of clear on these. Not sure. But yeah, it's just a light. It's called the Glossifier. I'll put the links in the description. Now, here's some coats of Glossifier on the front panels, which I will show at the end of the video. Some things that showed up on them, which you cannot see anything going on right now. Now, Glossifier does bring some gloss back to it and a little bit of texture to it, which I think is nice. It kind of helps. It makes the panels look better than what they are without the Glossifier. I do recommend you spray the Glossifier. Without it, you get a bunch of fades and stuff like that. So yeah, this is how she looks after, I think, 1 coat on the front panels and 2 coats on the back panels. We're spraying a 3rd coat on the back panels and a 2nd coat on the front panels. Now I'm going to take off the front fender. So you want to make sure to take all the bolts out, kind of obvious. And then if you have any stickers, like Hawk 250 stickers that I make or something, or some of my merch stickers, make sure you take them off. Very important. So you just peel them off. They should, since it's plastic, shouldn't stick too bad on there. Right, so these fenders we painted black because we wanted to see what black would do. It's a totally different paint. So we applied it on the bottom first just to kind of get used to it. And you can see it looks totally different. And it smelled more like paint. Plasti-Dip, the orange, it really didn't smell like paint. This actually did. It actually kind of came on better. See, up here's a second coat on the bottom. Really, we weren't expecting much from the bottom because I figured rocks were going to come up and take the Plasti-Dip right off. Because even though it's called Plasti-Dip, it doesn't stick great. It will still peel, so be careful on that. Make sure you have a good spot to put it. Now here's spraying the top. We put one. This is our first coat. It does kind of have a cool look to it through the camera, but in real life, and I'd recommend it defeats the whole purpose of it. And we did not sand any of this because it also defeats the whole purpose of Plasti-Dip. If you don't sand it, if you sand it, then it's gonna look bad if it comes off. So that's pretty much how that looks. We do, I think, throw another coat onto it, but I think we leave it like that for now. And it actually, when it dries, it doesn't. We didn't put gloss fire on it, and it looks pretty good. Now you will see that when it sprayed out a bunch of little dots. The nozzles get plugged on these pretty easy, it seems. So you do want to be careful of that, because it does spray and it just chucks a bunch of junk out. Not good. Now the headlight, I did not show taking the headlight off, but once you take your headlight off your dash, or off the front, there'll be 4 screws. You take those screws out, it removes that headlight cover right there. Now we use this black for the headlight and the back piece. They're all pretty simple. Here's the back piece. It's pretty simple. You do have to take that fender off, which we put on. And then you gotta take the seat off, which I forgot what size the seat was. But you take your seat off, which I'll slowly do. Now you want to make sure to see that little black piece. There's 2 bolts that hold that in. Those hold the whole panel in, or hold the panel plus those 4 top bolts. And you want to make sure you get those washers out. And once you get that out, that's pretty much your panel out. Now you want to make sure you clean that same thing. Clean it, get all the water off of it, dry it. Very important. As you can see, that hole right there in the center, rocks do come up, so it's obviously going to chip some of your Plasti-Dip and do some stuff to that. Just so you know. So really, I didn't expect it to stick long. Now here's the spraying the bottom. As you can see, I didn't get it when we started, but it's pretty much the same color. It looks the same. It sprays the same. It's pretty good. Now we did do this wet. We kind of in a hurry. I figured you wouldn't see the bottom anyways. And this is kind of the side you see. You want to make sure you get this good, and we never use a storage box anyways. But yeah, for black, the black looked pretty good. Actually, it smelled different, which I know it probably doesn't mean much, but I can't say it sticked any better. I can't tell, but it looks better. But yeah, you put that panel on. Now don't forget, you got to put that little black piece back on, because that's what your seat clips into. And you don't want to forget that. We're waiting for it to dry right now. Alright, now here are the grips. Now these grips, as you can see, kind of don't want to come off, but I do have a little trick I'm going to show you. If you pull right around the outside, you just twist it side to side, it should come right off. Now for the throttle side, I tried that same idea, but you're getting kind of hard on that, so yeah, you still want to pull by the edge, and you just peel it back a little bit, and it peels right off. Now before we put the grips on, the handlebar crossbar, it'll also be a link in the description. I got one of those. It says Pro Taper right on it, because my bike didn't come with one, so I wanted to buy one. So here's the installing of it. Now see here, when we put it on, this one right here was a little loose, and as you can see it spun. Really didn't like that. So what I'm gonna do is we take it right back off. And a little trick. So you take some Gorilla Tape, duct tape, any kind of tape like that. We had black Gorilla Tape, and you just sit there and you wrap it around a few times. As you can see, he's wrapping it around a few times. And you do 2 of those, just a little bit away from each other. Now, when you reapply that, you should have filled the gap and it shouldn't spin as good. There you go. Now, to put the grips on. Now, you see, one is for the throttle and one is for the non-throttle. Now, as you can see, this one, it goes on a little hard, which I honestly like. So what you might have to do is, might have to lube it. So, you see it's not going anywhere. There, you spray it, spray a little WD-40 on there, she'll slide right in, and then you let her sit, and once that WD-40 dries out, you should be good. Now for the throttle side, you do the same thing. Make sure you got the throttle on the throttle, and the other one on the other one. They shouldn't go, but if you somehow, just don't grind it. So yep, lube it up, and this one should just go on just the same. Now I did find if these ones, they don't go all the way down. So as you can see, you want to make sure you check it and get the right length. But these, they're a little short, but you can probably get a space. Now here are the end results for it. It looks pretty good. That's the black without the headlight. As you can see, there is a little bit of something up on that front panel, but anyways, the headlight looks good, and